control. Politicians and celebrities make deals behind closed doors, promises broken, and their income soars. Hidden agendas run the grand parade. In the circus, choose a masquerade. Believe me, I wouldn't lie. I've been given money, power, and fame to keep you in line.
Whoops, I'm sorry, I was muted. So today we're going to be talking about how in this country it's really hard to survive. It's really hard to get food that's healthy and safe to eat, and what you can do as someone who has to live in this country to find healthy food so that you do not succumb to all of the nice, crazy illnesses that happen in America, such as our wonderful, we can get the C word, we can get overweight, we can get bloated, we have IBS, we have a whole bunch of health issues in this country. So we are going to be talking about how we can fix that and what we're going to do about it. Let's see. Does this sound better to anyone else? No? All right, let's see if I can make it a little bit louder. All right, so before we get into what we can do, let's just see one of the things that is going on recently. So if you are in America and you want to get strawberries, you should probably know about this. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but just a little bit so you can know what's going on. Let's see.
A few things that you might want to be aware of this summer before you go and have a whole bunch of strawberry shortcakes, or maybe just stick with local strawberries. So on January 16th of 2025, earlier this year, a fire erupted at the Moss Landing battery plant in Moss Landing, California. This battery plant was the world's largest storage facility used to store energy in lithium-ion batteries, and it's owned by a Texas-based company called Vistra.
Okay, so you can't hear the video. I don't know what is going on. Can anybody? I can hear myself, so I don't know. But anyways, if you can hear me at all, hopefully, anyone else is in the chat, let me know if you can hear me. All right, don't know. Dang. Huh. Okay, I don't know. All right, so basically what she's talking about is because there was a lithium ion battery plant or whatever that blew up or something, it contaminated all of this year's summer strawberries. And, you know, it's going to be really hard for us to know, did these strawberries that we're getting in the grocery stores come from California or not? So it's just one of those things that you all need to be aware of, unfortunately, in this country. So there's a lot of contamination going on right now with listeria. So you want to avoid cucumbers, strawberries, a bunch of other things, apparently. So you just have to constantly keep track of all of the contamination because of farming practices, and there's really no regulations to keep factories doing things that could leach heavy metals right next to apparently where we grow our food. So because of this, we need to be extra careful in this country, and because our food travels and comes from such long distances all over the world and all over the country, it's not local. We are going to have these problems because that's just the nature of how this goes. So today we're going to go through what to do when you want to go shopping, what do you want to look for in the stores, what is safe to get in grocery stores, what is not safe to get in grocery stores, and what can we do about it. Oh, please don't listen to the government. We already know about that. Okay, so, and guys, let me know if you can hear me okay. I am trying to see what is going on with the volume levels. Anyways, so here we have how we're going to be surviving without traditional grocery stores, because when you get traditional food in the grocery stores, it's going to come very far away. It's going to be, God knows how they're going to process it, who's going to handle it, where it's going to be grown, what they're using for fertilizer, and what they're allowing to put on it. They have approved the appeal coating that cannot be washed off on even our organic produce. Also, then you have to think about how, like when it sprays your produce in that section, a lot of them, they use this additive that is to keep it from spoiling, which is not safe for humans to consume. Therefore, even if it's organic, if it's out there being sprayed, then you have that problem. Of course, you also have the plastic packaging. We just found out that Ziploc is causing the C word in people, or no, actually dementia. So it's causing dementia in people. So we have to be careful. Do not store things in Ziploc bags. I want you guys switching over to glass mason jars immediately. You can get them in all sorts of sizes so that you can take them everywhere. Okay. So let me see. Can you guys see this? All right. Here's my simple grocery list, and I'm going to tell you where you're going to get these later. So you're going to be looking for raw cream, raw milk, raw cheeses, fresh raw cheeses. That's going to be your safest bet. And you can get raw sour cream if you like sour cream, raw cream cheese if you like that, raw butters. You can also, if you want any wheat products, wheat is perfectly fine if you get the good kind. So you're going to be looking for certified glyphosate residue free organic wheat berries. You want the whole berries, and you're going to need a mill for that. The best mills are going to be the ones that keep it at a low temperature. So those are going to be your stone ground mills. They're kind of expensive, but think of it as a one-time investment in your health. So the other thing is you can get imported sardines. Now there's going to be some heavy metals, but they have done studies that show that the omega-3 is so beneficial that it kind of cancels out the effects of the mercury, and you can get rid of mercury if you're not having it every day. So I would definitely not have it every day. You're going to have one can, maybe every other day, and that should be safe to consume, and your body can get rid of a small amount. Just you have to be careful. Next, for your herbs, I do not buy the ground up herbs anymore because that has been found to have tons of heavy metals and pesticides, even the organic ones, because of the manufacturing that they do, what they use to grind it. It just shows up in everything. So we're going to be very careful from now on, and we are going to just get the seeds, organic seeds, get a little windowsill garden, grow your own herbs. You can grow some outside in a patio. You don't need a big space. I know. No, it's hard. Okay. So then we're going to get regenerative pasture raised organic eggs. I'll talk about where you can get those. Regenerative ground beef. You can get steaks, all sorts of animal cuts, whatever. Grass-fed lamb shank is what I get. You can get all types of lamb. Lamb actually is generally safe if you get it in the grocery store for now, because they won't eat anything but grass. So thankfully they're picky eaters. So they're going to demand that. All right. And then pasture-raised chicken is okay. It's not the same nutrients as eating lamb, goat, or beef or cow, but it's still okay. But I prefer the eggs from the chicken rather than eating the chicken itself. Beef organs, if you can get those once every week or so, just one little small portion. It's basically like a tablespoon amount of organs. You can put that in your ground beef. You won't even notice it. You can put that in, ground up some sausages yourself. You won't even notice it. Or you can take the organ pills if you're just too grossed out by it. Sea salt. Now they found a lot of lead and heavy metals in those, especially the ones that are imported to our country, because we do not test for that. So you are going to have to just accept that there's going to be a little bit of it in everything that we have here. I like to get my sea salt from other countries. Like I'll get it from Italy, I'll import it, whatever. And, hope that there's a little more regulations than there are here. But so far, there's none here. So yay. All right. Now, what kind of snacks can you have when you're on the go? You're going to want to have like beef jerky. They have some available that don't have additives and preservatives and nitrates, whatever. Whole fruit. Just remember, like, take a fruit with you. Take something like that. I don't really go for nuts and seeds as much, but pumpkin seeds are generally safe. You don't want to overdo your seeds. Okay, other foods that I missed here. Your grass-fed ghee, or you can have beef tallow, right? So actually, yeah. Ghee or beef tallow is what, you can use for cooking. You can't find olive oil in this country. I wouldn't bother going through the steps to try to find it, import it from another place. It's not worth it because the cost is so ridiculous. You're better off getting beef tallow or ghee. I prefer ghee because it tastes good. Beef tallow, I don't feel like there's any flavor added. It's just fat. So what's the point? I like the flavor that the ghee gives. All right. And you can cook it at pretty decently high heat without it burning. So you're good. Whatever fruits that you can grow locally. So that's going to be different depending on where you are in the world. Here we can grow mulberries, papayas, mangoes, star fruit, melons. I think that's it. We can't grow really any vegetables in the South over here. It's not like a vegetable place, but those foods are enough to like supplement your diet, which should be primarily meat. Eggs, meat, dairy. All right. And then we got farmers markets. You can, if you have these locally and they're actually organic, because what they do in Miami, in some farmers markets in Miami, they'll actually take the conventional stuff and they will sell it in a farmer's market. So it's the same exact items covered in pesticides, just presented in a farmer's market. No, that is not safe. But, they don't say organic, whatever. So you need to know who it is, who's selling it. Can you trust them? Is this a real organic thing? They usually don't even list it as organic. And if you ask them, they won't admit that it's organic. They won't even lie to you and say it's organic. So, but you have to ask. Then you can also order from the Amish or any sort of like co-ops and things like that. You can find them online. We have one that it ships to somebody's house, and they just open their garage and there's just tons of boxes of like people's order. And you just drive up, put it in your car and leave, whatever. It's like they don't really even watch you because it's kind of like a trust-based thing. Like if you're this concerned about food, you're generally like, they feel safe around you. Nobody's stolen anything yet. So you can do that. There's some that deliver directly to your door. Yeah. The other thing that I like to eat is honey. Your wild honey, right? But the brand that I get is called Lineage Honey, and I stand by them. This tastes like when I was a kid. This tastes like how honey is supposed to taste like before they made it like all fructosey and before they started like injecting the flowers with whatever and feeding, I don't know, the bees like sugar water, or there's something different that they're doing to the honey, even the raw, wild, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't taste like honey. And then when I had this particular brand, Lineage Honey, I'm like, oh, that's what it was supposed to taste like. I knew it was wrong this entire time. I knew it didn't taste right. So be very careful. This brand I stand by for now. God knows if somebody buys it up, what they're going to do to it, but we have to be on top of that. All right. So these are your decently safe, if organic, fruits, whatever. vegetable, whatever. Avocados, because you just take the skin off and it generally doesn't pick much stuff up, that's going to be pretty safe. Pineapple is the same thing. The skin doesn't really soak up whatever's in the ground as much. Papayas are pretty safe. Asparagus, melons, kiwis, carrots sometimes, and onions. These are going to be your decently safe. So you have to like have lower expectations for them. They're not going to be perfectly clean, but you know, we can handle a little bit of toxins if we're being really careful elsewhere in our diet. So some things that I would find no longer safe from grocery stores, unfortunately, are sweet potatoes, because the heavy metals in the ground, because the pesticides and all that stuff and the runoff, and it's a big mess. I would never touch button or shiitake, I think enoki, whatever, like those types of mushrooms, a very common type of mushrooms. They tend to be toxic if you don't cook them right. And even if you do, they don't have health benefits. So I prefer to get the more like medicinal types of mushrooms. And you can actually in some grocery stores still find them, and they're generally safe if you do find them. So one that I find is lion's mane, and you'd be like, I think trumpets are okay, but you know, research it before you go out, find out which are like the most medicinal types of mushrooms that are available where you go. I don't touch corn. Corn has been contaminated, unfortunately for us. So we've moved. Corn was never actually good for you. It needed to be processed so much. It's a survival food. It's not a thriving health food. It's a survival. If you're in massive famine, all the animals are gone, you got nothing, that's when you would go for corn, because then it'd be worth it to do all the processing. Or it's like, think of it like if you want to make candy or something like that, like maybe you go through a long process because it's fun to eat, but it's not real. Oh my gosh. Okay. I already said this one. Let's go. Okay. Some other staples. So like not everything is going to always be at the farmer's market, and you have to like sometimes go hunt online or make things yourself. All right. So baking powder, just do the best you can. Look for like the least contaminated. Baking soda, mung beans, your lentils, basmati rice is the one I get. I avoid anything grown in America and China. Period. I will not touch it. So I get basmati, and you have to clean it. You have to do all that stuff. You can't just cook it. Real grade B maple syrup. It's a dark one. And that one, there's a few companies, they don't add anything to it. And you can tell like it's a very dark color. And that's obviously from Canada. You got real vanilla extract, the fake one. They're using a whole bunch of toxic things now to make fake vanilla flavorings. So you want to be so careful. Brown sugar in moderation is okay, like especially like molasses and stuff. It does have a little bit of minerals, so you can kind of like, oh well, it's got some minerals. You're gonna need a grain mill if you want to cook. Yes, this is true. Again, glass mason jars of all sizes to replace your Ziploc bags and all your plastic storage containers. Even if it's glass, they usually have a plastic lid. Let's toss those. Let's switch to mason jars. You can scoop it out with a spoon. It doesn't need to be like this flat plate-like thing. It's silly. Let's see. You can get, I allow this in my house because sometimes you need a quick meal, especially if you have kids. Grass-fed meatballs for quick meals. In fact, switching to them from like the quote-unquote safer chicken nuggets showed a huge difference in the health of the children. So definitely go for your grass-fed meatballs over any sort of chicken products. I would try to get children off of chicken. It's not that it's not healthy in this country. It's very rarely pasture-raised, and even if it is pasture-raised, chicken is not super nutrient dense like other meats are. So it shouldn't be a staple. Okay, then, some exotic spices, you cannot grow them or you cannot get them. So I do order saffron from specific sellers. Persian sumac, it's not like the poison sumac. It's a spice that we have. It's like a limey spice. It's really good. So I order that. I also get real rose water. We put it into our rice at the end of cooking. It gives like a nice aroma. And the only brand that I have found without additives is called Costa's. It's got no preservatives, no junk. It's solely rose water and it smells amazing. You can like put it on your face as a toner. You can use it for whatever you want and it's amazing. And if you want to try like Persian style desserts, we put a little rose sometimes in them. So, I mean, rose and sugar and put it in a pastry, like just try it. It'll be pretty good. You can make your own mayo. You can make it. I'm going to put like some recipes in the Discord for simple things like that, like make your own mayo. You can, instead of using olive oil, because I wouldn't recommend it, you can just use like butter that's like, I don't know, like heat it up a little bit so it gets easy to mix and then use that. Dijon mustard, I found some from, I think it's Italy or France or whatever. These are the brands, Pompery, whatever, Le Must. They don't have any additives. Yes, we could do that. The other thing is if you want to get teas, you have to be very particular about where you buy the teas. I would never buy teas from a brand that sells any tea in tea bags. I know. But try to find yourself some good organic loose leaf teas and try to get like a stainless steel or like a glass thing to like infuse it, whatever, so that you don't have to use anything else and it's reusable. So it's good. I like for matcha, I like the brand Encha matcha. It is, I did a whole review years ago on like 30 different types of matcha brands. And I got like people to send me their matcha from all over. And this one was by far the best. I highly recommend it. So I still stand by that one. I know the owner and everything. Good people. So then for coffee, if you're going to have coffee, now remember, it can up your cortisol. It can up your histamines. But if you really like to have coffee, you want to go for your mold-free ones. And I like Danger Coffee because it also adds minerals, which we are depleted because none of our fruits and vegetables in the United States have minerals in it. So we need to add minerals somehow. So you can get like the fulvic, I think fulvic and humic, I don't know how to say it, fulvic, humic acid, mineral supplements. You can find a really good quality one in the dispensary in the description below. Get it from someplace reputable that actually has to test it, like a dispensary like that. Do not just get it off the shelves because they usually don't have anything in it. All right. Places to shop, just to reiterate, you can go to the Amish. They're in a lot of places. We actually have them down south here. Believe it or not, we have actual Amish people. They do not do organic though. So, side note, not every Amish community is actually organic. Yes, some of them use pesticides like everybody else. And the ones in Florida, they use crap. So, but the ones in Pennsylvania, I like. So get it from those. Online food co-ops, like I said, local organic farmers markets. Always check if they're organic. Don't trust. Source certain organic foods from Italy or France. And you can actually find some of these on Amazon relatively cheap. Like I said, the mustard, or like you can get, you know, like some cookies or whatever. I found a biscotti that didn't have additives from France, so that was good. You just have to look at the ingredients. And if it doesn't list the ingredients, you already know you can't have it. Meat and poultry delivery services like Rep Provisions. Get it from them. I love them. They're really cool. They're nice people. They're good people. You're helping a community. This is good for us. Do not give it to these corporate overlords that want to poison us and keep us weak and docile. All right. You also want to check for flash frozen. I think that's what it's called, but whatever. It's something like that. Pastured organic chicken. And you can sometimes find this in certain, maybe like higher end grocery stores if you really look, maybe in a Wild Fork if you look. So that's something to keep in mind. Very nice. Oh my gosh. No, this is not true. Do not ever. No. Okay. So hopefully you guys can hear this. What? All right. So this is my farmer's market, and he is going to go around and tell us what he gets. This is Dr. Paul Salidino. He was a regular MD and realized that he was not being helpful to his patients because it's a lifestyle condition for all the things he was treating. So just by changing his diet, he was able to cure his like skin conditions and health issues. And basically exactly what I told you to get. He would probably agree with most of it, except he'd probably say no to any vegetable. But that aside, it's really cool to check out. This is my farmer's market.
This is heaven for me, guys. Look at this. Like all of this raw milk in glass, raw milk, raw milk, raw milk. Okay, what's the deal with this? This is all raw cow's milk. So A2 cow's milk. What does that mean? A2 refers to the casein isoform. Casein is a milk protein. There's A1 and there's A2. And generally people do better with A2. Jersey and Guernsey cows make A2 milk. All right. So when I'm drinking milk, I find that it digests better. I feel better with A2 milk. If you are getting cow's milk, it should say A2, or it should be from Jersey cows. But cow's milk is not all they have here. And what is raw milk? In case you don't know what raw milk is, it's not pasteurized. There's a huge debate going on online now, right? Is raw milk better? Is it better to be pasteurized? What's the downside of raw milk? People say, oh, raw milk is a problem because it's not pasteurized. You can get sick. You can get sick from any raw food. A lot of people get sick from raw cucumbers, raw cantaloupes, raw spinach, and raw sushi, raw fish every year. Can you get sick from raw milk? Absolutely, if the farm isn't doing it well. But if the farm is doing it well, milk actually contains many, many proteins and enzymes.
Okay, so like he was mentioning here, you can go to a grocery store and get listeria poisoning. We had a huge amount of people pass away recently because of listeria poisoning. So do not think that your grocery store is safe. It is not.
That prevent the overgrowth of bad bacteria. Milk has lactoferrin and lactoglobulin. Milk actually contains hundreds of thousands, probably billions, if not trillions of organisms from the cow. When a breastfeeding mother nurses her child, that is not sterile. All of the skin flora goes into the milk, and all of that skin flora is commensal. It's good for you. It's what's naturally in milk. It's what's in human breast milk, and it's what's in all mammalian milks. I'm going to show you some other mammalian milks in a second, but raw cow's milk actually contains lots of bacteria that are good for you, and those bacteria generally outcompete anything bad. Have there been instances of people getting sick from raw milk? Yes. But people have also gotten sick from silk milk and almond milk. There was recently a huge recall in Canada. Some people might have died. In 1986, there was a huge outbreak of salmonella from pasteurized milk. I think over 200,000 people got sick from pasteurized milk. So the important thing when you're drinking raw milk is that you know the quality of the raw milk. Get it from a good farm that's reputable. And on the flip side, what are the benefits of raw milk? Raw milk has been shown in multiple studies, the Parzival study, the Gabriella study, to have benefits in terms of allergy and immune effects in humans. So kids that grew up on or off farms drinking raw milk versus pasteurized had lower rates of asthma, eczema, and allergies. That's crazy, especially because I grew up drinking pasteurized milk and I had asthma, eczema, and allergies. That is the atopic triad, guys. That is what I suffer from. And raw milk has helped with that. Basically, that was the reason I did the carnivore diet. That's a whole separate story. So what is pasteurization? Pasteurization is heating milk to a very high temperature. It's usually over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And that changes the conformation of proteins in the milk. There's definitely research showing that the whey protein in milk changes conformation, and that may affect humans negatively immunologically, or you may lose positive immunologic benefits from a whey protein that is undenatured. When you pasteurize milk, you also wipe out all of the flora in the milk. So there's no bacteria in pasteurized milk, which can be a good thing if there are harmful bacteria in raw milk, which happens very, very rarely, but it's often a bad thing because there's nothing in the milk. There's no organisms. And so if anything contaminates a pasteurized milk, it's going to go crazy. It's like an agar plate in a science lab. If you put bacteria on an agar plate, it goes wild. It just grows everywhere, lots of colonies. And so if salmonella or campylobacter get into pasteurized milk, like happened in 1986, like happened recently in Canada with silk milk, soy milk, and almond milk, then you're going to have major problems. There's no other organisms there to outcompete the bad organisms. There's an age-old debate, guys, between terrain theory and microbe theory. The microbe theory has kind of won out in Western medicine, but I think it's missing the boat a little bit. Microbe theory is kind of like the school of Louis Pasteur, who...
Okay, so this is important. Let's talk about this. Can I get it to stay? No. Okay. So the whole terrain theory versus the pathogen microbe theory. So when I grow, fish, right? So when I have my fish tanks, you can do two ways to grow your fish tanks. Either you have them in a big space where you're constantly cleaning out everything, right? Like all the fish waste and all that stuff, and it's like bare bottom, or you're just cleaning the what's it called? The pebbles, what's it called? Gravel on the bottom. And it's just very minimal and you're constantly cleaning it. They're living like in a sterile, it's like a bubble world, right? So the fish can be kept alive that way. Or you do the other way where you allow microbes in, you allow fauna flora in, you allow like a dirt layer in with different I think it's like anaerobic and whatever, all this bacteria in the fish tank. And it actually creates oxygen from below as the bacteria breaks down like the waste and like the plant matter and all that stuff. And it's just like a very complicated, beautiful ecosystem that you can create. So you can do either like everybody's a bubble person, and then one pathogen gets in, everyone dies. Or you can do like the ecosystem and cultivate a good ecosystem. Unfortunately, we will never be able to fully be bubble people because our soil is in our bodies. We have a microbiome in our gut, in our brains, in other parts. Everything has its own microbiome. And so we need specific bacteria and fungi and viruses, even in a specific balanced in order to create homeostasis. So we'll never be bubble people, okay? So the idea that you can be in a sterile environment, that you're going to sterilize your hands, which have their own microbiome to keep them safe from being penetrated and getting infections and stuff like that. It's never going to happen, guys. So we need to get this idea that we're just going to keep everything super sterile and clean out of our heads. No, you want to cultivate good, healthy bacteria balance. And then he's talking about that, but we don't really need to hear that because I feel like you guys understand. So let's talk about raw milk.
Camel's milk is pretty easy for humans to digest. The downside of camel's milk is that it's a little harder to find and it's much more expensive. When I did research online, camel's milk is apparently the closest thing to human breast milk. Now, I can't recommend any breast milk substitutes on YouTube because they took the last video I did about that down, but it's the closest thing to human milk. So it's probably easy for humans to digest. And like I said, it's A2A2 and it has a lot of vitamins and stuff. So I love camel's milk. It's so expensive that I can't drink it all the time because I would go through like 6 of these a day. But if you have trouble digesting milk or you need it for children, maybe, camel's milk is a really, really interesting option, and it's closest to human milk. That's intriguing to me. I also hope that at some time in my life, I get to milk a camel. And I don't know where the camels are that they get this from, but I want to go see them. We don't think about milk as a source of vitamin C, but camel's milk is 3 times higher than cow's milk in vitamin C. So
now I have tried camel's milk and immediately I spit it out. I'm sorry. As healthy as it is, and I've seen the studies, I want to be able to stomach cow's milk. I just can't do it. Now, goat's milk, and I know it has a goaty flavor. I'm fine with that. Cold, I'm fine with goat's milk. I just could not stomach, for the life of me, camel. I'm sorry, and it's just not for me. But if you can like put it in a pill, I'll take it, but I can't with the flavor. It's disgusting. Donkey milk is fine. I can stomach donkey. It's actually kind of like nice. It's kind of sweet. It's kind of really good. But let's be camel's milk. It's really, really, it's an acquired, I don't know, survival thing to me.
all the milks are a little different and they're all mammalian milks. Humans can digest all of them, but cow's milk is probably the hardest one for humans to digest. But if you're getting the A2, cow's milk, it's easier. Camel's milk is much easier. Let me show you guys some other milks that are easier for a lot of people to digest, but you'll see in this video, guys, like I guarantee you that people are going to come up to me in the store here and tell me this anecdote because I hear it from every time I talk to people about raw milk. Even though there's no evidence that raw milk is easier to digest or that raw milk is less lactose intolerant for people, every time I talk about raw milk and I do a meet and greet, people tell me that they can drink raw milk and they can't drink pasteurized milk. Observationally, I meet a lot of people who have an easier time digesting raw milk than pasteurized milk, even cow's milk. And that's interesting to me. They've got goat's milk and sheep milk as well. Remember, both of these, the sheep's milk and the goat's milk, have less lactose than a cow's milk. So if you still get lactose intolerance, gas, or bloating, or any weird symptoms with a cow's milk that's A2A2 raw, you might try a goat or a sheep's milk. Yeah, you're welcome. Go ahead. Notably, this is really interesting. Sheep's milk, 40% more calcium than a cow's milk. So that's incredible. Like I haven't had sheep's milk in a while, but I'm going to try some sheep's milk today and make a smoothie and let you guys know how it goes with this. I like the different types of milk. I'll love the cow's milk, but this next one, if I had to decide, this next one is my favorite milk. Check this out. Skadoosh. Have you guys seen that movie? You guys know Kung Fu Panda? Skadoosh. Skadoosh. raw buffalo milk. This is my favorite milk. And
I don't like the milk that much, raw buffalo milk, but teach their own. I am a cow's milk girl. I like the cow's milk. And you know what? I kind of even like the goatiness of goat milk. I don't know. I kind of like that. Only cold though. Cow's milk you can heat up. It's good. Only cold for the goat. Donkey, I've never tried it hot, but probably might be okay. What's up, homie? So you have to consider finding some of these milks. Now, there's so many co-ops you can go to. And I actually recommend researching them online, finding one that delivers to you and checking them out because you can find some really exotic, fancy stuff. You do not need to go to the grocery store, guys. I'm trying to get everybody out of the grocery store and into co-ops. Stop giving these big megacorps that are poisoning us any of our money and attention. Not only that, let's talk about how they want to track you. They want to track you in the parking lot. They want to track what you buy, and they want to sell that information to other corporations. They want to try to influence you online. They want to know everything you're into. They also, they are taking a tally. If you accidentally take something, or even if like the checkout chick accidentally put something in that you didn't pay for with no recourse, and they actually pass this, they have infinite amount of time to build up a case against you. So they will wait until it's grand theft. So it's like, something fell into your cart here, something fell into it here, something, wasn't scanned there. And it's like little things adding up like 20 years. And then, now it's grand theft and you have no recourse. You cannot say I did. You don't have the receipts. They've long disintegrated. You don't have any proof. It's their word against yours. They win every time. So we need to stop going to these grocery stores. And if you do go, please do not buy anything small. Please make sure you're watching your cart. Do not go with children because children can sometimes throw things in and ruin your life. You end up in prison or something like that. Like, this is serious now. It's not just trying to keep you healthy. Now it's trying to keep you safe and your family safe and ensuring the future of your family. You cannot go to these chain stores anymore. I would not set foot in a Target. I would not set foot in a Walmart, any sort of chain grocery store. I just wouldn't do it. They are tracking you so that they can have the option in the future to put you away forever. And they have passed laws to make this possible. Go look it up. This is scary stuff. Get out of the grocery stores. Get out of these stores. Now, you can always, if you have the money to spend extra, you can have your food delivered. It's going to be your safest option because they can never say you stole something or whatever, or something fell or something this, or your kid threw something in the cart, whatever it is. They can't say it if you buy it online. So if you insist on getting this poison, please buy it online. Spend the extra few bucks so that they cannot put you away, right? And it's sad that this is what this world has become.
buffalo milk is sweet. It's even sweeter than
This
cow's
is not
milk.
rich people.
It has more fat than cow's milk. So it's good for like nourishing if you're trying to gain weight, if you want a fattier milk. I mean, according to ChatGPT, it has 17 grams of fat per cup, which is pretty incredible. I'm telling you guys, if you get a chance to try buffalo milk, it's so good. This is the best milk I've ever had. And what we're talking about here is not bison, it's buffalo. So I think it's like a water buffalo they're milking. They have the horns that go down like this, and it almost looks like they have a toupee on. So this is not from a bison. I think it's from an actual like water buffalo. I told you guys, this is like the best farmer's market in the country. They also have...
This is my farmer's market. All my milk is from here, and I get the one in the glass bottle, so it has no plastic. It's a little bit extra, but you know what? You can get organic milk in the grocery store right where I live at the Sprouts or whatever, or the Whole Foods for $10, right? It's not even a gallon. It's like, I don't know, a liter or something. I don't know what it's called. Like the half gallon, whatever it is, $10. So instead I go here, I spend maybe like $13, $14. I get it in glass, a gallon. This is amazing. Why wouldn't anyone want to do this? So you're not wasting that much. This isn't like a rich people, poor people thing. Get less food and only get safe food. Also, when you get the frozen meat, you can, it comes out to about the same price as buying it like by the pound in the grocery store. Like if you want to get ground beef, whatever, 80-20 or whatever you guys are into, I get 90-10 because I try to be like low fat that's not delicious. And then I add the fat that I find delicious into food later, like ghee or whatever. Okay, so
have kefir, which is fermented milk. And kefir is different than yogurt. When you make yogurt, you ferment yogurt at like 140 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 hours. But kefir is fermented at 78 degrees Fahrenheit for a day. So it's a lower fermentation for a longer amount of time. And they use different bacteria. And so kefir is pretty easy to digest. If you have trouble digesting lactose, kefir removes almost all of the lactose, and yogurt significantly reduces the lactose in milks and in yogurts or kefirs. So I love kefir. And they have kefir that they make from buffalo milk right here. They're making yogurts. I mean, it's incredible. Dairy is just the beginning, right? You get the milk, but then you can make it into a yogurt. You can ferment it. You can make things like butter, which is the next thing I'm going to show you because this blows my mind every time I'm here. The raw butter here. Look at the color of this raw butter, guys. This is amazing. So look at that butter. I mean, this is insanely yellow. And butter, there's no coloring added to this butter. This is beta carotene because the cows are eating grass. So that's real butter. And the color of this butter is amazing. I happen to think that raw butter is like gold, and it looks like gold, right? It's incredible. I put butter in my squash. You guys may have seen the videos I did about spaghetti squash. I called it animal-based pasta, and I got flack because it's made from a plant, but you guys get the idea. Like, an animal-based diet is something I've advocated for. It's meat, it's organs, which are here. I'm going to show you guys that stuff in a second. It's fruit, it's honey, and it's raw dairy. And squash is a fruit. So animal-based pasta is not wheat. It's made from squash, which is a fruit. So I was using the term animal-based in that way, and all these silly vegans were like, oh, up in arms and haughty. Oh, you're not eating. It's not from an animal. Well, yeah, but it's part of an animal-based diet, and I made that up. So, you know, go eat some steak, you vegans. Stop criticizing. Anyway, raw butter and squash is amazing. Benefits of butter in a nutshell. Butter is full of all kinds of good fats for humans. You've heard butter is bad for you. It's good for you. Short chain fatty acids, like butyrate. It's full of saturated fats like stearic acid. Butter also contains odd chain fatty acids. I'm going to put a little research on the screen. C15 and C17 are odd chain fatty acids. Most of the fats we think of are even chain fatty acids, 14, 16, 18, 20 carbons in length. Odd chain fatty acids, 15 and 17 carbons. These have consistently been associated with longevity and health outcomes in humans. They're found in butter. Butter is a health food, guys. Do not fear butter. Right next to butter, they got some beef tallow. I'm going to show you guys our beef tallow from Lineage in a second. I'm really proud of that. I mean, look at this, guys. Look at the color of our beef tallow here. That's what beef tallow is supposed to look like. It looks like butter. It's like yellow. So look, I love Southwest Ranches, but I think our Lineage beef tallow wins. So we're just going to sell Lineage beef tallow here.
okay, and I know he's trying to promote his products and whatever, but guys, actually, I've had both, and his Lineage one is so much better. That's also the honey I mentioned. His honey brand tastes real, and it blows your mind when you realize that like the stuff that they're selling in the grocery store, it's there's something wrong with it. Even if even the honey that I would get from the farmer's market that's supposedly organic, wild, whatever, it didn't taste like his honey. So I would just say if you want to taste honey how it was in the before times when everybody was a size 00 and healthy just naturally because food was food, not poison, I would go and try. I would recommend his brand. I would actually recommend his brand. I don't recommend many brands, but as long as he is a part of this brand, I recommend the Lineage food products. And look at the difference in the color. Like he's right. And I've had both of these tallows. I love Southwest Ranches. I love them. Their milk is top tier, but their tallow, meh.
Here, because look at the color of ours, guys. I'm really proud of that. Anyway, beef tallow is a super valuable fat for humans. If you're cooking in a pan, if you're heating things, beef tallow is the way to go. It's much more stable than olive oil. I wouldn't heat olive oil, guys, but beef tallow is amazing. You can use beef tallow in place of butter, but if you're heating anything in a pan, beef tallow is the way to go. If you are not convinced that this is the best farmer's market in the country, this is all raw ice cream. They got goat ice cream, buffalo ice cream, and cow ice cream. And what's so cool about this is that ice cream can be a health food. Let me show you guys what's in these. Raw cow vanilla ice cream. Ingredients: raw cow's milk, raw cream, pasture-raised egg yolks, organic vanilla powder, raw butter, Celtic salt, and honey. That is how you make healthy ice cream, guys. It is not hard to make ice cream healthy, but the only place you're going to find really healthy ice cream is if you make it yourself or something like this. Raw milk, egg.
Okay, as someone who goes to this farmer's market, I can say I do not like their ice cream. And I know that sounds terrible, but I prefer to make it myself. I have like a little ice cream maker. I got it for like 40 something bucks, like 100 years ago. It works great. And like, what is it? Like, I put raw milk, raw cream, pastured eggs, whatever. And I will use either brown sugar and his honey, the Lineage brand honey. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And I know it's, oh my gosh, I don't have time for that. But just freaking try it. Just try it. Just try it. You'll make time when you have it, because the greatest part about when you make your own food is that you don't get bloated afterwards. So, like, you know, it's up to you guys. If you want to get bloated, if you want to feel tired and nasty, eat at the grocery store. If you don't want to feel that way, make it yourself and use good quality ingredients like this.
Egg yolks, honey, fruit. I've made videos. I'll put a link in the description of this video, how to make your own healthy ice cream at home. But ice cream is a health food. Like, I'm definitely going to get some of this ice cream today. It's going to be amazing. It's very possible that I'll eat this whole thing today and I'll still feel healthy and I'll still feel like working out and I'll still have mental clarity and I'll still sleep well, because it's a good food for humans. So let's keep going. They got eggs here, and you'll see soy-free. They're corn and soy-free. Why do I care about that? Let's look at them. I mean, I don't know what the deal is right now, guys, but eggs are like gold. So corn and soy-free eggs. Why do I care? When a chicken is fed corn and soy, the amount of linoleic acid, which is an 18-carbon polyunsaturated fat, increases in the yolk. I really believe that one of the issues with seed oils is that it's pushing up our linoleic acid in our diets. And so these are more like wild chickens. Like, wild chickens make eggs with less linoleic acid in the egg yolk. Traditionally raised chickens, corn and soy fed chickens, more linoleic acid in the egg yolk. I really believe that a corn and soy free egg yolk is going to be a healthier egg yolk, lower linoleic acid than a traditional egg yolk. So these are definitely, I mean, these are like the best eggs I've ever seen. If you're going to eat eggs and you're going to eat the yolks raw, don't eat the white raw, because a chicken egg white that's raw contains avidin, and that's a compound that binds biotin. So you don't want to eat raw whites. If you want to use the whites for like shampoo or make them into something or give them to your plants, fine, but don't eat raw whites. All right, so eggs, I love. And they've got all kinds of cool eggs. They got quail eggs. They got duck eggs. What is this? I don't even know what this is. It looks like Jurassic Park or something. I think that might be a turkey. That's not a turkey egg. I don't even know. I'll ask them. There's just 3 of these random eggs in here. Like some little dinosaur is going to come out. Maybe these are just huge duck eggs, but look at the size of that egg, guys. I mean, that's huge. It's a goose egg. So amazing. I mean, where else can you get goose eggs? All right, guys, they just told me 1 goose egg is 20 grams of protein. So how crazy is that? I mean, it's a huge egg, you know, but 1 goose egg is 20 grams of protein. So maybe I'll have to get some goose eggs and make like a goose egg omelet or something. I don't know. All right, guys, up here, they've got jerkies, but look, they got to get the Lineage. So we're going to get some Lineage in here. We just released the nose to tail collagen from Lineage. Let me see that. All right, so check this out. I'm proud of this, guys. It has grass-fed, grass-finished beef collagen, never ever fed antibiotics or hormones, but it also has trachea and scapula cartilage, which have type 2 collagen. Normal beef collagen only has types 1 and 3, but ours has types 1, 2, and 3. We also put in natural vitamin C from acerola berries, eggshell membranes for hyaluronic acid and elastin, and we got some sea salt in there for absorption. So best collagen on the planet, I'm saying. Make sure you're getting your collagen, make a bone broth, eat the tendinous tissues, or check our new thing out from Lineage. I got to talk to you guys about bacon. I'm not going to lie, that's some of the best bacon I've ever seen. When you're thinking about pork, you want corn and soy.
Okay, please do not eat bacon, do not eat pork and pork products. I just wouldn't do it, because they have done some studies that the types of parasites that are found in pork, they do encapsulate in a very strong, I forgot what it's called, biofilm, that only will break down in the body, not even high heat. So even if you're frying your bacon, unless it's freaking charcoal, it's still going to hatch in you. So take that as you will. You have been warned.
Free pork also. Really, you want pastured pork. You want pigs that are just out on the range, eating bugs, eating mice. Yeah, like you might not know this, but pigs are omnivores. They definitely eat other animals. The same thing that happens with chickens happens with pigs. So the same thing that happens with eggs affects the bacon. When a pig is fed corn and soy, and most of the pigs that you are eating as pork are fed corn and soy, the amount of linoleic acid in the fat goes way up. If you look at wild hogs, the amount of linoleic acid in the fat is like 4 to 5%. A pig fed corn and soy is like 20% linoleic acid. So know the quality of your pork. And if you're getting most of your fat from bacon, try to get a lower linoleic acid pork fat. This is the same problem with chicken. When I'm getting chicken or I'm thinking about pork, I want it to be corn and soy free, and I want it to be lower linoleic acid. So the sourcing here matters. To be honest, 99% of what I eat is beef. And I have no issues with that. I've never seen solid research to suggest that humans cannot eat red meat every single day. Every single day you can eat red meat. It's grass-fed, it's grass-finished. It's really the best quality meat out there. You want some variety, eat some chicken. eat some pork, but try to get something that's corn and soy free, low linoleic acid. The other thing to think about here is with fish. I've done so many videos on Atlantic salmon and how they use coloring agents. You don't want to farm raised salmon. All Atlantic salmon is farm raised. You want wild fish. But if you make the majority of your diet fish, you got to check your heavy metals, because fish is just polluted these days. And it's going to have higher levels of mercury, cadmium, lead, arsenic, along with PFAs, forever chemicals, and microplastics. So I really feel like there's no perfect food. It's all compromised. But don't fear eating red meat. Don't fear animal fats. Don't fear butter. And know that it's okay to eat red meat more than you're eating now. If you want to eat fish, great. I wouldn't do it every day. And if you want to make your diet entirely fish, you better check your heavy metals. All right, guys, you know I wouldn't be excited about any.
I just want to say that I had a vegan friend, super unhealthy, always having weight problems, either too skinny, losing hair, or too heavy, too bloated. And then she's like, now I'm a pescatarian, because like, oh, the face of the animal, I can't do it. And she went nuts. I'm not saying that's a heavy metal thing. I'm just saying, do with that as you will.
Farmer's market that didn't have meat. So like, look at this. They got all this red meat here. You got grass-fed, ground beef. Everything is grass-fed. So you got ground beef. They got ribeyes. They got New York. Everything here is grass-fed. Looks like they're sourcing a lot of this stuff from Australia, which is amazing. I know the farm that this Australian grass-fed beef comes from. It's actually the same Australian grass-fed regenerative set of farms that the beef in here comes from, is what we use to make the lineage air-dried steak and the meat stick. So I can personally vouch for the quality of this meat, because I've been to the farms in Australia. They're some of the best farms I've ever seen. It's like cows on green grass overlooking the ocean to Tasmania. It's like $1 million real estate with cows on it. That's how you get good meat. If any of you think that like red meat is not good for you, the best kind of meat is red meat, because it's eating grass its whole life. I have reservations about chicken. Over here, I mean, look at this. That is a thing of beauty. Look at that ribeye. This is actually my favorite cut of steak. It's a skirt steak. There's inside skirts and outside skirts. You've got skirt steaks that are over the ribs and skirt steaks that are the diaphragm. The texture of skirt steak, I love it. So if you guys haven't tried skirt steak, you got to get on skirt steak. Let me talk to you guys about this for a second. You look at a steak right here. You got muscle meat. You got some fat. We don't eat a lot of the connective tissue of animals anymore. They're chewy bits. Those are the parts that really have to chew, like the collagenous joints and stuff of an animal, or the tendons. That stuff gets thrown out. So we're kind of deficient in collagen as humans today, which is why I think it's important to supplement with collagen, to make your own bone broth. Check this out, guys. They have a whole freezer here full of organs. This is crazy. Beef liver, primal blend with organs in it, liverwurst. They got tongue. They got heart. Why would you eat organs? Muscle meat is beneficial. It has unique nutrients. They're not found in plants. But just like peanut butter and jelly, you got to have some organs to complement the meat. Humans have always eaten the organs of animals. Liver has unique nutrients that are not found in muscle meat. Vitamin A, selenium in higher amounts, choline, biotin, higher amounts of those things, more folate. So organs are incredible. They're super valuable for humans. If you don't like the taste, if you don't want to eat organs, do a grind, like grind it into your ground beef. Or this is why I'm proud of Lineage with the meat sticks and Heart and Soil with desiccated organs. I started these companies to make it easier for you guys to get organs. So put in your ground beef, get liver. I mean, look at this, guys. You know I'm going home with some beef balls. I mean, I'm getting some testicles, like for sure. What other farmer's market in the country has this amount of beef testicles? Yes, thumbs up from me for beef testicles. What do we got?
I got skirt steak.
Oh man, thank you.
Out.
Yeah.
You tell me how you want it. We got some ribeyes. We got the pancreas coming out.
Yeah, you cooked it. Yeah.
You do chicken?
I'm good.
You don't do chicken?
No.
Ribeye, yes.
Yeah.
You do chicken? All right, cool. All right, let's take it out. Let's start some.
All right, we don't need to see it. So these are all Miami people, as you can see. So look at the big butts and stuff. Anyway, so this is where I go to get my groceries. It's super cool. You guys can totally find somewhere to go that has food like this. And if you can't, there's always online. They do ship directly to your door, a lot of these places, and it comes in ice packs and styrofoam and whatever you want to do it so it stays perfect and solid frozen. My meat company comes what's it called, with the dry ice, so it's a frozen solid. It's amazing. It tastes great. You don't get any problems for it. I don't get histamine issues because it's flash frozen immediately, fresh. So it doesn't have time, like, you know how like leaving food overnight or whatever or out gives you more histamines on the food. That's why leftovers are so bad for people with histamine issues. No issues if you have it flash frozen. It's amazing. I can even have like their lamb, all that stuff. It's just great. And if you want to have really good chicken, they have the best chicken thighs. And I highly recommend them. And I hope you guys consider where you get your food. Now, you are going to have to get rid of some stuff if you're going to eat healthy, but that's the name of the game. If you want to live long in a healthy way with energy to do stuff, to be able to like have a good life, you're going to have to make sacrifices. And a lot of it is, I'm not going to have any easy to eat junk food, right? I'm not going to have that. It's unfortunately, I have to cook everything from scratch. Me or Steven on the weekends or whatever, whoever's going to do it, we have to cook it from scratch. So keep that in mind. It's not that hard. We're going to be talking also like another day about overwhelm that happens when people get, what's it called, like health anxiety, because that's the other thing that I have a lot of people messaging going like, can you stop posting all this depressing stuff about all the ways they've contaminated the food system? What am I supposed to eat? You can't have strawberries this summer. You can't have cucumbers. You can't have, there was another ramen. Somebody mentioned ramen. There was another ramen recall. What's in the ramen? As far as I remember, isn't ramen like hard pasta and then like little packs of powder? Like that's how I remember it. How is it full of listeria? Like they're doing something. Like that doesn't even make any sense. Like how do you go out of your way to put listeria? There should be nothing in the plant that has listeria to put it in the ramen. It's weird. So that's all I'm saying. And we also had, for like all the processed meat in this country, I think it was like a quarter of it had listeria, and so many people passed away from it. It was insane. And of course, you'll never hear about that. They're not going to tell you. So just be really careful, you guys. Nothing, of course, is safe. Don't have anxiety about it. Just try to find these places that have healthy food. There's no such thing as climate change. It's just climate change is them wanting to charge you fees for breathing and drinking water, and they don't want air that you breathe, and electricity. None of that's going to be a human right. That's what climate change agenda really is. It's just like they're going to put you in those 15-minute cities. They're going to control everything. You're going to have like a little credit. You have 1 credit of meat if you're a good boy or a girl and don't post anything on the internet. So like that's all this is all about. They don't really care. If they could fix everything, if they did regenerative farming, they're never going to do that because it's about control. It's not about your health. We are the wage slaves or whatever. Anybody who has to work for a living, that's what you are, especially to these people who run everything. So please take care of yourselves and research and fight. Do not give up. Don't lay down and die just because it's a little bit hard to do to eat healthy here, but it can be done. My friend just came from another country and he was messaging me like, I went to a restaurant. I've always eaten this. I'm so bloated. It's been 3 days. The bloating doesn't go away. What's going on? And I'm just like, yeah, welcome to America, bruh. Welcome to America. Oh, you think you can go to restaurants here? Do you know the big company, I think it's called like Cisco or something, that supplies all the restaurants with their food, Frankenfood? It's all the same, whether you go to like this joint in the corner, mom and pop, or this, corporate bull crap. It's all the same. This is not real food. You guys got to pay attention to what is going in your bodies. And look, let's end on a high note. There was a study done, and I mentioned it before, that there was a study that basically they had a bunch of bunnies and they were feeding them poisoned pellets, right? Their food had poison in it. And they found that one of the groups of bunnies did not get sick and pass. And then they looked at the tapes and they found out that the researcher who fed those bunnies didn't just put the food there and walk away. No, fed them, took them out, told them they were pretty bunnies, that he loved the bunnies, and cuddled with them and made the bunnies happy, and then put them in to eat the poison. And I know it's weird, but like maybe conspiracy, maybe that's why you pray before you eat. You try to eat in good company. And when you're eating, make sure you're with people that you really care about, and don't watch TV because that's been correlated with bad digestion and illness. So if you watch TV, if you look at videos, if you do anything like that, just don't watch anything. Either like sit outside in nature to listen to the birds or whatever, listen to the rain, you know, in a covered area, whatever, or just freaking be with people that you like. That's it. That's gonna go the longest for you guys' longevity. So if you got to eat the junk food, if you can't afford what I'm telling you, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Okay? It's not. You guys could do this if you wanted to. I swear you could. If you just order the meat and the ghee and sea salt, you could live off that and you'd be fine. But, you know, if you guys want to do whatever you want to do, at least remember that. Eat with people you like. Don't watch any shows or any media when you're eating. And if you can't be around good people, go outside, listen to nature. That's all. And get your sun. Get your sun. We need sun. People are dying from lack of sun. We are house plants that need sun. And you can't get it through the window because of how the windows are. So go outside. And we'll see you next time. Bye.